It's always interesting when we get these collections of articles like the ones you shared, all looking ahead specifically at cloud computing for 2025.
Yeah, it's a great set. We've got perspectives from all over: Techwrix, Informa, Flexera, Simplilearn, Software One, CNCF, Visma, CIO Inc. Quite the list.
Exactly. And the idea here for this deep dive is really to boil it all down. Find the key takeaways, the big trends, so we can all get a handle on what's coming without getting lost in, the sheer volume of it all.
Absolutely. And looking across them, the main feeling I get is, well, momentum. It's not just tiny tweaks. 2025 looks like a year of pretty significant evolution in the cloud
It's
space.
driven by some major forces, it seems, like AI, edge, sustainability,
Hmm,
even quantum's popping up more.
definitely. Those seem to be the big engines pushing things forward.
Okay, so let's maybe start with the foundation. Cloud adoption itself, it feels like we've hit a new stage.
I think so. Flexer's latest State of the Cloud report, for instance, says over half of workloads, even for enterprises and SMBs, are now in public clouds.
Over half. That feels like a real uh, tipping point, doesn't it?
It does. And what's interesting is you hear talk about repatriation, companies pulling workloads back. But Flexera pegs that at only, what,
Yeah,
21%?
21%. So despite that discussion, the overall growth is still strong.
Yeah, very much so. It's not just lifting and shifting old stuff anymore. A lot of growth is from ongoing migrations, sure, but also completely new cloud-native applications being built.
Right, designed from the ground up for the cloud. And Visma, they're predicting 85% of enterprises will have a cloud-first strategy this year.
85%. That's huge. It really backs up what Simple Learn was saying about companies leveraging those economies of scale, the vast services the big providers offer. It's just hard to ignore.
So this broad acceptance, this deep embedding of cloud, it kind of sets the stage for everything else.
Exactly. It creates the fertile ground, if you like, for these other big trends like edge computing and AI to really take root and, importantly, scale up.
Okay, let's talk edge computing then. This feels like it's moved from coming soon to, it's here now, right, for 2025.
Very much so. Informa Tech Target really highlights how central edge is becoming, largely because of, well, the explosion of connected devices.
Internet of Things, yeah. Billions and billions of
The
devices.
numbers are wild. IoT Analytics thought maybe nearly 19 billion devices end of last year. But then Statista's estimates are way higher, like 46 billion edge-enabled devices in 2024, heading towards maybe 77 billion by 2030.
77 billion. That's almost hard to picture. And all generating data.
Precisely. And needing processing closer to where that data is generated for real-time insights, IDC predicts data at the edge will grow faster than data in the core cloud.
Which makes sense. You don't want latency for critical decisions.
Exactly. And the hardware itself is getting better, more robust, better cooling, more powerful chips, but also more energy efficient. And crucially, the software to manage all these distributed devices is improving too.
That manageability has to be key, doesn't it? Especially when you see the spending figures. IDC saying $228 billion in 2024, heading towards nearly $380 billion by 2028.
Huge investment. It shows this isn't just experimental anymore. Industries like automotive, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, they're deploying edge solutions seriously now.
And it's not just one type of edge, is it? It seems like there are different flavors.
Right. You've got purpose-built devices, smaller regional data centers, CDNs pushing compute out, telco offerings, even the big cloud providers like AWS extending their platforms to the edge with things like local zones, lots of options.
But Informa also mentioned challenges. Infrastructure headaches.
Oh, for sure. Putting equipment out in public spaces, think roadside cabinets, brings issues. Powering them, cooling them, keeping them secure, even just getting permission to put them there. It's not trivial.
Yeah, I can imagine. Physical security alone must be a concern.
Definitely. But as we mentioned, the remote management tools are getting better, which helps mitigate some of that.
And Software One pointed out the synergy with 5G.
Right.
That combination seems powerful.
Absolutely. Edge plus 5G really enables that low latency, real-time processing, reduces bandwidth needs, cuts costs, makes applications much more scalable. Think wearables in healthcare or self-driving cars.
Which ties into what Visma said about hybrid and multi-cloud becoming the norm. Edge fits naturally into that mix, doesn't it?
Perfectly. It gives that flexibility and resilience organizations are looking for, and some use cases are pretty out there. Informa even mentioned Edge being vital for autonomous systems on, like, unmanned space stations.
Wow, okay. And it also supports things like VR and AR spatial computing.
Yeah, processing data locally is key for those immersive experiences. And interestingly, there's a sustainability angle too.
Oh, how so?
Well, processing data locally can mean less data transmission, which saves bandwidth and energy. Plus, edge allows for more energy efficient specific hardware, like those analog edge chips that are emerging for certain tasks. They sip power compared to general purpose processors.
Fascinating. Okay, so edge is huge. But running right alongside it, maybe even more pervasively, is AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI is, well, everywhere now, it feels like. Software One basically said 2024 was the year it got properly embedded in business, driving cloud use, cutting costs, boosting security, automating IT.
And the adoption rates are crazy, according to Flexera. They use the word exploding for AI cloud services. 79% using or experimenting with AML platform services.
79%. And for Gen AI specifically, 72% already using it to some extent, plus another 26% experimenting. That's incredibly fast uptake.
And the cloud providers are making it easier, right? Embedding AI capabilities.
Exactly. Simple-Learn highlights this. You don't necessarily need a huge team of PhDs anymore to leverage sophisticated AI. Providers offer tools and services like AWS Deep Lens or Google Lens examples that bring AI within reach.
But here's an interesting twist. AI isn't just staying in the central cloud, is it? It's moving to the edge, too.
That's a really key convergence, yeah. Just like processing is moving to the edge, AI models are following. Driven by more powerful yet efficient edge-specific chips, think NVIDIA's Jetson line.
So you can run AI applications directly on the device.
Precisely. AI-powered kiosks in shops, predictive maintenance sensors on factory floors, that sort of thing. It really makes hybrid models blending edge and cloud seem like the way forward.
But more devices, more AI out there, surely that means more security risks.
Absolutely a major concern. Informa warns that hackers are targeting edge deployments more. And Omdia's research shows security and data protection are still big barriers holding back even faster edge adoption.
So organizations need to be really careful there. What about managing this complexity?
Well, groups like the CNCF are working on it. Their DBAP project, for instance, which helps build distributed apps, is adding features specifically for AI workloads, like managing conversations with large language models.
But regulation is coming too, isn't it? The EU AI Act. Yep. Software One flagged that for 2025, compliance around AI use is going to be under the microscope. So while businesses are eager to use AI, as Visma notes, they have to navigate security in these new rules.
CIO.Inc. had an interesting take, positioning AI's impact, but then pointing to quantum computing as the next level for specific, super complex problems.
Yeah, like quantum offers a different kind of computation, exponential power for things like molecular simulation that are just intractable for classical computers, even AI-powered ones.
Which brings us neatly to another massive theme, sustainability.
A really big one for 2025. Software One highlighted the projected growth in data center power demand like 160% by 2030. That's huge.
And the emissions that go with it. So providers are under pressure.
Big time. Customers, regulators, investors, they're all demanding more eco-friendly solutions. Renewable energy powering data centers, more efficient hardware, and crucially, transparency, carbon accounting for cloud usage.
And laws like the EU's Energy Efficiency Directive are pushing this too, making reporting mandatory. Exactly. Which means data centers need robust ways to track and analyze their energy use.
And FinOps cloud financial management plays a role here too.
A key role, according to Software One. Optimizing cloud spending isn't just about saving money anymore, it's about reducing waste, which directly cuts energy consumption. Cost efficiency and environmental responsibility are becoming linked.
Flexera also saw more companies setting up actual sustainability initiatives, tracking their cloud carbon footprint.
Right, and Visma made the point that it's becoming a competitive differentiator. Companies want partners with green credentials as part of their ESG commitments. They'll actively choose platforms with lower footprints.
Simplilearn also mentioned providers focusing on green computing themselves, so it's pressure from both sides, customers demanding it, providers promoting it.
Definitely a major focus area. Okay, so shifting gears slightly. Quantum computing still feels a bit sci-fi, but it's getting closer, right?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
CIO.Inc. called 2025 the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. That signals a real global push.
And the investment is flowing. Not just government missions, though. There are 34 of those now, with over $55 billion committed globally.
Wow.
But also serious venture capital into quantum startups.
Yeah.
QCPRL, Pasquale, quantum machines. And governments are investing directly in companies too, like Canada backing Xanadu.
So it's moving beyond pure research.
It seems like it. CIO.Inc. talks about convergence with traditional IT. We'll need hybrid systems, quantum processors working alongside classical CPUs, GPUs,
Yeah.
and robust data management, plus post-quantum cryptography.
Right, need to protect against quantum computers breaking current encryption.
Exactly. The potential impact is massive, though, revolutionizing drug discovery, optimizing complex logistics, transforming financial modeling.
And the big tech players are involved, making it accessible.
Yeah, IBM, Microsoft with Azure Quantum, Google, they're all building platforms and services. And AWS has Amazon Bracket. Companies like Boeing and VW are already experimenting on these cloud platforms.
So access is getting easier, and the talent pool is growing.
It is. System integrators are building quantum teams. Universities are training people. Visma thinks 2025 is when quantum via the cloud really starts becoming more mainstream, offering that huge compute power for tricky problems.
Software One also sees it as a major disruption coming soon, offering speed and efficiency gains, especially in areas like pharma, crypto, finance. Early adopters might start seeing real benefits this year.
It's definitely one to watch closely.
Okay, so beyond those really big themes, edge, AI, sustainability, quantum, ham, there were quite a few other important trends mentioned across the sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Multi-cloud and hybrid cloud, for instance, still very much on the rise. Simplilearn and Visma both emphasize the flexibility, risk reduction, and ability to use the best of breed from different clouds.
And CNCF mentioned their DidApra project helping manage that complexity in multi-hybrid environments.
Right, but managing multiple clouds brings challenges, especially around cost.
Ah, yes, FinOps again. Cloud cost optimization is still a top headache.
Remains a huge focus. Flexera says it's a top challenge. Simplilearn notes businesses are really concerned about it, hence the investment in tools and those growing FinOps teams. Flexera even estimated, 27% of cloud spend is wasted?
Ouch. Nearly a third. So lots of room for improvement there.
Definitely. And linked to that, of course, is security and resilience. Always top priorities. Providers keep investing in things like encryption and disaster recovery, but it's still a major hurdle for many organizations.
Then there's serverless computing, still growing.
Yep. Similiran mentioned it. Running code without managing servers attractive for cost and scalability.
And low-code, no-code platforms, making development easier.
Yeah, speeding things up, reducing costs, and enabling more people, the citizen developer idea, to build applications using visual tools.
We also touched on 5G enabling edge, but 6G is on the horizon too.
Further out, yeah, but Informa mentioned its potential for even lower latency and more bandwidth. Still early days for 6G, though.
And the competition between the big three, AWS, Azure, and GCP, is still fierce.
Oh yeah, constantly competing on price, services, reliability. Flexera showed AWS and Azure are still neck and neck at the top.
And finally, just foundational tech like containers, Kubernetes, Docker, still essential.
Absolutely critical for managing modern cloud applications efficiently. And the cloud obviously remains central for data analysis, storage, and huge distributed databases using GPUs for processing. That's not changing.
But putting it all together, 2025 looks incredibly dynamic. Lots of opportunity, but also complexity.
Definitely. It's not just one thing changing, it's how these trends interact. AI driving edge adoption, sustainability influencing cloud choices, quantum promising a whole new future. It's all interconnected.
Well, hopefully this deep dive, pulling together all those different perspectives, has helped paint a clearer picture of what's ahead, maybe spark a few moments along the way.
That's the goal, trying to connect the dots from all that great source material.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Which of these trends feels like it will hit your world the hardest? Your industry, your role?
Yeah, and what steps could you maybe take now to get ready? Or even just to explore some of these areas further? There's certainly a lot happening.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.